Friday, August 24th at Longhorn Stadium, the Payson football team was pumped and ready to go against 3A South rival Fountain Hills. About halfway through the first quarter, neither team had mounted much of a drive. Then junior Shane Keith returned a punt 20 yards to the Falcon 40. Quarterback Ridge Hallinar found Keith open to take it another 10 yards. Payson continued to drive, and on 4th and goal, Hallinar snuck it in, and Payson led 7-0 with 1:05 left in the first quarter. Then a short kickoff, but David Carlin and Ryan Cox teamed up to stop the return cold. The Horns got the ball back, and with 3:31 left in the half, B.J. Hill took it 5 yards for the score, and the Horns took a 14-zip lead. The Fountain Hills team finally got their first down with 2:47 left in the half, but Tyler Savage stopped any ideas of mounting a drive with a big hit on Falcon Robert Rosfeld. Payson got the ball back again, and on 4th down, with 1 second left in the half, Hallinar found Brandon Alexander open, and the Longhorns took a commanding 21-0 lead into the locker room. The second half didn't start well for the Falcons as Brian Burke and Zach Brooks hammered Fountain Hills running back Ethan Hodge on this pass play. Tyler Savage recovered the fumble, and the Longhorns were in business again, this time with quarterback Zach Brooks handing off to Nick Goodman, who took it in from the 1-yard line. Josh Fruin completed a perfect point after night. He was 4 for 4, and Payson led 28-0. But then the Falcons' highly touted quarterback Jason Fairfield started to connect. Fountain Hills drove to the Payson 7, and running back Robert Rosfeld took it in. The score, Payson 28, Fountain Hills 6. In the fourth quarter, Fairfield continued to find holes in the Longhorn pass defense, and Rosfeld scored again, this time from 5 yards out. The extra point was good, making the score 28-13. Meanwhile, the Longhorns' offense bogged down, and they seemed to be going backwards. And when punter Nick Herring was unable to handle a bad snap from center, the Falcons were all over it. Fountain Hills recovered the ball on the Payson 14-yard line, and with the momentum they had built up, it seemed they would be able to score again. But the Longhorn defense rose to the occasion. On 4 straight plays from about the 1-yard line, the Payson boys stopped the Falcons. It was a classic goal line stand for the Horns, with Matt Wilson coming up with the ball on the last try. Then, with Payson backed up deep in their own territory, sophomore running back Brandon Alexander gave the Longhorns some major breathing room with a 51-yard romp to the Fountain Hills 35-yard line. The Horns grounded out down to the Falcons 7, but Alexander fumbled, and the Falcons were back in business. A halfback option pass was good for 30 yards, taking the ball to the Payson 13. Then Fairfield connected with number 34 Jim Hubick, and Fountain Hills trailed 28-19. They tried an onside kick that was covered by Longhorn Brian Burke. The Longhorns had a great first half and played great defense on that goal line stand to outlast the Falcons. Final score, Payson 28, Fountain Hills 19.
You know, I'm just pleased with our first game offensive output and our defensive hitting and flying around, and our special teams did really well, so we had a good, complete game as far as that goes. We didn't pass much because it really wasn't a necessity, and with those good running backs we have, the Alexander boys, Nick Goodman, B.J. Hill, and Ridge Hallinar, those kids all ran hard, they blocked well for each other, and that's the main thing. I mean, when you get the ball, you go hard, obviously, but when you don't have the ball, blocking for each other, these guys know their role and they do a great job, and I'm very proud of them. You know, and it's a great tribute to our offensive line and tight ends, and even our receivers blocking downfield, you know, to get those over 300 yards of offense on the ground. We'll throw the ball when we need to. When we're getting big runs like that, there's no need to go away from it, and our offensive line got a good push and made big holes, and they took advantage of it. Fountain Hills was rated number 3 in the state, and we held them to 1 first down in the first half. That is a huge, huge goal for us. We had some big hits going on, and I tell you what, the same is true with our defense, with our offense. We have a lot of talent. We got a lot of skill on the team and a lot of different kids making plays. We're not relying on even just 2 to 3 kids. The whole team can get it done. Why would anybody, want to take Ridge out, especially in key situations? Off to the sidelines and in the stands, the part of the game that goes on that people just don't understand. Well, he cramped up, he took himself out, on that note right there, that was a big part of our problem in the second half. We had a lot of key people cramping up. So I think our biggest problem on the team right now is one that I've never had of or heard of before in my life, and it's our own nutrition. How we eat, the things we eat and drink during the week make a big difference, especially when it's hot out and playing in a game where you got to go both ways. And in the second half, we had some situations where we had to take some key starters out, and they started completing some passes and getting some things here and there. So they stepped up the momentum when they needed to and took advantage of our nutritional problem, which we'll take care of. But, they're a good team. Like I said, they were rated number 3 in the state, and you can't ever think Fountain Hills is just going to lay over and let you have it, or any other team that we're going to be playing this year, and the boys didn't. Brian Burke read the screen great. He was coming in hard on the quarterback, hit the brakes, and chased the guy down. And he's got great speed and ability, and when he got there, he hits like a ton of bricks, and he did. And Zach got there just about the same time, and those two collided on that guy, and he fumbled it. And it was huge because it was their first drive in the second half, and we were up 21-0. And because of that situation, we ended up going up 28-0, and just started off the second half the way I wanted the boys to, and with some excitement and some scoring. And when you get backed up on the goal line like that, I tell the boys the one thing we want to do is just try and get a first down. If you can get a first down and go from there, we'll take it. If we need to punt and move on, we will. But he came up with a big run. We had some great blocks downfield. He took advantage of it with his speed and put us in great position, got us out of a big hole, and gave us some breathing room. So it was a big key play in that game, especially at that time. That time of the game, they had the momentum big time, and we shut them down 4 plays with a foot to go, and that was just impressive. They tried 2 of them right up the gut, and our strength and conditioning paid off right there. So if anybody ever doubted getting up at 6 in the morning all summer long, coming in and lifting and working out, there it is right there. Scott Andrus and Kevin Connor and Brian Burke and Matt Wilson and Trevor Day and Burba and Carlin and Ridge Hallinar and Shane Keith all came flying in there and made some hits and stopped them on the line and just stuffed them. It was just, like I said, it was just exciting. It was fun to watch. When they were down by 9 there at the end and going for 2 to make it a 7-point game, with 14 seconds left, and Burba came off the side there and got his hand on the ball and knocked it down. That was huge because now Fountain Hills has 14 seconds left, which is tough to make a play anyway, but now they need to get the ball back twice, and that just took the wind out of their sails and gave us the final breathing room, and it was a huge play. Tyler Savage had a big game. He caused a fumble, he recovered a fumble, he had a huge hit, he had a huge catch. He just had an outstanding defensive day. I think he led us in tackles with 12 and was just absolutely all over the field. And it's just a great position change to move from him inside to play linebacker because he can handle it. He did just an outstanding job. The kids just don't quit. Doesn't matter who's in there. And I'm very proud of them about that. I think Winslow's obviously going to be tough. They got a lot of tradition there and a lot of confidence. So there's no reason we're going to be looking past them, and nobody is. So as far as their offense and defense goes, they don't get too complex on their offensive play calling. It could be just because it's early in the season right now, but as far as I've seen on film, it's nothing fancy. I think they want to just be really good at the basics and really come at you. We'll be ready for them, and I think it'll be another exciting game.